Morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Today is Good Friday. I hope that wherever you are, you were able to attend Monday, Thursday service yesterday evening. We had ours and we had a light meal together, and then we had our service, and it was just absolutely wonderful. That's the most touching, heartfelt service of the year for me. And this morning, I was putting all the towels in the washer from our foot washing. And as I did something as mundane as putting towels in the washer, I started thinking about all the beautiful souls that were present last night. All of those who received communion, all of those who came forward for the foot washing, of every age, from 6 years old into their 80s. And my heart was just overwhelmed with love and with joy and with gratitude. And today is Good Friday, and we say Good Friday, and then we wonder what's good about it. Well, if it had not been for the cross, if it had not been, I'm sorry, it's been one of those mornings, just all the thoughts. If it had not been for the love of Jesus to the point of dying for us on the cross, nothing would be good. So it's good because of his sacrifice. It's good because Jesus is coming back. Wednesday night at youth, I did a lesson, not a lesson, a talk with all the kids. We sat down together and we talked about this week, this Holy Week. And I asked them all the question. I said, I said, it's now, it was Wednesday evening. It was about, 6:30 or so. Jesus was crucified the next day. And at 3 o'clock is what the Bible tells us he gave up his spirit, because that's when the veil was torn. So from 6:30 in the evening until 3 in the afternoon, Jesus knew what was coming. Now at 6:30 in the evening, remember they were in the upper room and they had had the Last Supper, and Jesus had washed the disciples' feet. We were talking about all these things that go on during our special services during Holy Week. I wanted them to understand why we come together and do these things. I didn't want them to just show up because their parents showed up and so they had to. I wanted them to know why we do the things we do and what things it symbolizes. And so I asked them, I said, so if it was 6:30 and you knew that tomorrow by 3 o'clock that you would be dead, that your time would be up here on earth, not in heaven, but here on earth, what would you do? And of course, they all had answers. And I want you all to think about your answers. If you knew now that by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon you'd be gone, what would you spend your last hours doing? Think about it for a second. They had all kinds of different answers. One of them said, I'd just sit down and cry. One said, I'd be nicer to my sister. I had all kinds of answers. And I said, well, think about it for just a minute. Jesus knew at 6 o'clock, 6:30, when they were in the upper room having the Last Supper, he knew that his end was near. He knew what would happen, exactly how it would happen. And he washed feet. Now, that's something that I think about every time we have a Monday, Thursday service. Jesus spent his last hours washing feet, praying, lifting us up, preparing the way for us for the future. So I know I've taken up part of our devotional time, and I apologize, but I couldn't sit here this morning crying and not tell y'all why. Our devotional this morning starts with the scripture from the book of Luke, chapter 23, verse 43. Jesus said to him, assuredly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. The title of today's devotional is Never Too Late. It reads, you may